Okay. Voila.
Hey, here we
Hello.
are again.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I was about to say I love those cut and paste images of you that you showed me earlier.
You
Yeah.
mean the one I made of myself in New York?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bit embarrassed of showing them to the world, but I can maybe, I don't know, I can choose one of them.
Yeah.
So here, I'm in New
Yeah.
York.
Yes.
Yes, but I mean, actually, exactly like this with my clarinet, I have it in my hand here.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God.
So I want to be exactly like this in the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Yes, but actually, yes, we talked about, like you said, that you have plans to come to Vienna, actually, maybe in summer.
Yeah, this was and actually it was like I had a trip booked. So I was supposed to during the past summer be in Hungary in Kecskemét, which is south of it's quite a ways south from Budapest. But I have a friend who I know from New York who has lived in Vienna for a couple of years, and we haven't seen each other for a while. So I really feel like that the call to Vienna there's been several things. There's sort of like that pre-existing relationship, and then that, of course, everything during last summer got canceled. The trip to go to Hungary, which would bring me in very close proximity to visit Vienna, that whole trip got canceled, and everything around it, and all of the travel. But now there are all of these other, like our connection adds on to that. There's somebody else who I interact with on a regular basis in another digital program that I've been doing for like a year.
Nice.
I feel drawn.
Yes, you should come. Vienna is calling you like this.
I'm trying to pick up that phone.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's what you who were talking about sort of like pop culture or television shows that you like some of what are the things, has it been like a long time that you've thought, oh yeah, New York?
Actually, I'm really curious about life in New York, and like also a friend of mine once told me that he was like visiting New York and then visiting a rap battle in somewhere in New York, and I was like, yes, I really want to do that too one time. Enjoying the music in New York in general, not especially rap battles, but also like the diversity of music there.
Totally.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think, the one of the things about New York is that there's such a range, and it's constantly happening. Like the idea that it is always alive and always active or never sleeps, as they say. It does feel in reality very much like that. There are things that are happening in the middle of the night in places, that you don't know, you have to like figure out or find out about or be dragged to with a friend. Sometimes you end up on adventures that are completely unplanned, because you're in some spot, you're having a good time. People are like, oh, come with us to this other thing, and then you're just magically, you knock on a door, you go through another thing, and you're in like a like secret. Yeah. And that is exciting, but it's something nice about New York is that like all of that is there to visit. And I'm sure many people in New York who maybe feel frustrated about people coming from outside and in, but it's also true that because of the high population, it's just that people come, people come to live for a little while, people come to visit for short and long times, people relocate and stay there. I grew up in upstate New York. Yeah, I kind of accidentally ended up in New York. I just thought, oh, it's too expensive, it's too wild, it's too many people, it's not enough stuff, But yeah, I don't know, it's pretty magical.
what came also to my mind now is like that in How I Met Your Mother, they are making a lot of fun of New Jersey.
People love to talk shit about New Jersey. Yeah.
Is it really happening?
Oh, yeah.
Do people do that in New York? Like,
Oh yeah, and like Staten Island.
talking. Yeah, really.
I actually, my sort of secret obsession is that like I think there are parts of Staten Island that are just so charming, like so charming. Yeah. And there are a couple of cultural institutions there that I really enjoy that are strange. Like there's a place that's on like on Staten Island's coast that used to be like a medical hospital, like a retirement and medical facility for sailors. So people who, you know, in old age need to move somewhere or might be injured or something like that, like it's a big compound. But now it's a cultural institution. So there's galleries, there's teaching gardens, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. It's called Snug Harbor. But there are these, like around it, there's also like other little cool things like Alice Austin. There's this is another reference that would be super cool for you to see, is the Alice Austin house. But Alice Austin was a queer photographer, like openly lesbian photographer at like the turn of the last century, so 1800s. So it was this amazing opportunity because she was wealthy. She could take up photography in kind of a serious like craft based way. I don't think that she really thought of herself as like a fine art photographer, but rather sort of documentarian. But she photographed a lot of people in her family and her friend group, and those folks were also queer at a time when they were sort of, it was like they were flying so far under the radar. I think people wouldn't even like imagine that that was a possibility, but like her and her group of girlfriends were like riding bicycles. I think she had the first motorized vehicle on Staten Island even. Like I think she had the first car or something, she was like an early, she had an early interest in motion, like travel, movement, people coming and going, and she documented a lot of that coming and going because Staten Island is situated in that place where it faces the harbor. You know, the side that faces the harbor is the side that she was looking at, so ships coming in and out of New York City. Yeah.
Cool. So we can also show like the idea of, so we had the idea that we will send fabrics to each other.
Yes.
And I'm gonna send you this fabric because I have 2 of them, and you're gonna send me fabric too.
Yes, I have this kind of like mesh like fabric. And I mean the curious thing is we got into these ideas about like going and being in each other's spaces because it relates to these things that we're making for each other too. These little videos that we're making, or even the way that we're like collaborating or communicating or getting to know one another, is from these spaces that we're also sort of like projecting ourselves into. I can show that the little video, yeah, that I did, a little experimental video. Do we want to look at that?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so that fabric that you just held up is this fabric that appears in the video, right?
Yes.
So we sort of arrived at this place. Like last week, we made a series of videos that were based on these prompts that we came up with: pink, circle, body movement. And then this week, doing a little bit of experiment with Zoom as the recording device for the background, and the sort of appearing in like I had this idea about our domestic spaces merging, you know, but also not quite. Like I kind of love where it glitches out and does weird stuff, like how the couch is see-through right now.
I like it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I ended up using this blanket that I just got for myself. This is a Zoe Schlachter blanket.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, there's something like there's some relationship that I'm making between those that photo the album of photographs of you imagining yourself in different scenes in New York
Mm,
City
mm.
and
Yeah, it's
what's
true.
happening here. This sort of like it's almost like cutting and pasting our
Mm,
spaces, like our domestic spaces,
mm, mm,
these activities.
mm. Mm.
Like it's hilarious that the cat has been reduced to just the tail.
Yes, Baker.
Just the tail.
And then I really like how you're moving. Yeah.
Yeah, the spinning in the circle. I mean, it's
Yeah.
right back to those earlier ones with the spinning
Mm,
laundry and the
mm,
pink pot and the
mm,
cat timer. And
mm,
yeah, it's just sort of
mm,
like we're finding these little places of porosity,
mm,
like where like domestic spaces where we are. Yeah, like literally I tried to I was like, let me line myself up with you and sit where you're sitting or something like this.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Oh god, I'm such a weirdo. Oh, yeah, we talked about covering and
The
protection.
shelter, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I wonder if when I record these, if there's some sort of thing that I could check to make my name disappear.
Mm, mm.
Ooh, I like that little moment where you're like, where it clicks in and out and it looks like you're in my window in the back too.
Mhm. Mm.
I think that's the end. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Cool.
So this is a
Cool.
great idea though, because we've arrived in a place where we've done like, we found things that are sort of like, we've put our spaces together like next to each other,
Mm.
like a juxtaposition.
Mm. Mm.
Now we're starting to explore this kind of like layering way of being
Mhm.
together. And
Mhm.
I'm excited about sending each other
Mhm.
actual things so that we have in different places we have the same type of material that we could start
Yes.
together with.